All right, we should be back just in time to catch green flag action here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jonathan Cofield did capture the pole. Zach Panzarella started P2.
You got me?
I do got you, Matta.
All right, we're back.
Cofield did snag the pole for Zach Panzarella in the final minutes, final seconds of qualifying. Yellow flag is out here on lap 2. Seeing an incident from Daniel Chesmore. We go back to find out what happened here. Seeing a loose truck down on the bottom. A little bit 3 wide. Truck's kind of going everywhere off of turn 4 right there. A couple separate incidents. Jonathan Cofield is the leader at this first caution. Sorry to the viewers, we're still working out the earlier technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We'll try and grab Jonathan Cofield real quick, get the pole interview out of the way a little late. Jonathan is Jonathan in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, man, due to our technical difficulties, we're getting the pole interview out of the way a little late here, but an early caution gives us some good time. So you started out front, got those couple laps underway before the yellow. How's the track feeling, and how's the truck feeling for you?
No, it's pretty good. It's a little slick on new tires, but it'll work tight. So just everybody's gotta be careful and kind of tiptoe on the first couple laps till you get some heat in the tires, and then we should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks like what the couple did at near the mid and back of the pack there. A couple trucks got loose and sideways off of turn 4. A couple ended up through the grass. So a little bit more patience from some of these guys, and we should be rolling, and hopefully a long green flag run.
Yeah, green flag be pretty good. Green flag pit stops would be awesome. I was actually looking in my rearview mirror. I thought we'd have had a crash off 1. That's usually where it happens, but all 4 is fine too. So it'll be all right.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like you've got a fast truck, like always. You got Zach Panzarella right behind you, a newcomer in the 70 of Brown as well, sitting in P3, and then some of the regulars behind you as well. So we'll see if you can keep them in your rearview mirror, and I wish you luck the rest of the race.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Y'all enjoyed the show.
And that was Jonathan Cofield, our pole sitter, currently leading after the first caution. And they're going green the next time by as the lights are off on the pace car. Matta, are you there?
I am here.
All right, I got you. Looks like the stream's got you as well. We should be good to continue as always.
Would you be able to share me one of your screens? Or will we have to go without that?
I will get you my screen and we'll continue.
As the pace car pulls off, get Jonathan Cofield and lead Zach Panzarella on the outside. Get to the restart zone.
Green flags
Ooh,
in
and
the
Zach
air.
pushes the tires a little bit.
Big jump off the start for Jonathan Cofield. Panzarella not getting the launch he wanted there, but they do single file out for the first about 6 or 7 trucks. Nicholas Lamb back here going side by side with the 70 of Paul Brown, trying to get that position away. Deeper in the field, so double file.
Yeah, it's a good fight back there. This is usually how Charlotte works. The front few guys, if you get clean air, you can really space out. But if you're just stuck next to people, it's hard to pass here. The top and the bottom are very equal. We do have a battle for the lead heating up a little bit. Zach isn't falling off. He's right there.
He wants the lead and he wants it now. He's not looking to wait to get to it.
And something you can see him dive that left front underneath Cofield, but he can't keep it there. He got a little bit tight. If he can keep that left front of his nose just tucked underneath him, it'll help his truck a lot. He grazes the wall a little bit.
Brushes it through 3 and 4. It's going to give Keith Ayers the chance to close in on him. Deeper in the field, we'll find the usual front runner of Javier Zapata in P15. Down 12 from his original start spot. Was one of those trucks that got a little squirrely at the beginning and has fallen back a little bit.
And it's going to be really hard if this runs green for him to gain that much time back. Charlotte really is a race of keeping track position and trying to keep your tires under you, especially on the long run. But even keeping the tires under you, you need a fight early. You can't really give it up. It's a delicate balance between tire saving and keeping your position here. Ooh, these guys are tapping the wall right out of 4.
When the exit of 4 will sneak up on you, it might not look like you're going to get that close to it, and then all of a sudden, there it is.
Yeah, you have a lot of grip through the center of the corner, and then it flattens out quick on the exit of 4. It's like the corner's still happening, but it starts to flatten out before the end of the turn, especially on the front straight. Looks like Zach's starting to fall back to Keith Ayers a little bit.
The lead for Cofield, roughly half a second over Panzarella.
We got to fight back for Gary Maydew and Brandon Alessi. It's like Alessi might be falling back a little bit. Gary Maydew's running quick laps right now compared to the guys around him. About 0.2 quicker. But this could be by plan for Alessi. Started up a little bit further up. I mean, he's about where he started, but you can really save your tires early and try and get it back late, whereas some people like to go off early, as we're seeing with Gary Maydew.
A little deeper in the field, you got Daniel Chesmore in that 00. Fighting alongside, let's see who that is there. Kyle Lawver in the 91. Completes that pass after about a lap and a half.
Yeah, and they're pretty close here for 15th on back. They have a real battle going on.
Most of the field has single filed out, and everyone's going to start working individually on each other. As we see a pass being attempted down into 3. Did not quite get the run to the inside.
We were talking about Keith Ayers. He was making moves, but now he's falling back into Lamb and Paul Brown. as we say that, Zach is keeping up with Jonathan Gofield pretty good.
Over the last couple of laps, that lead's only slowly increased from about half a second to 7/10.
Looks like Keith Ayers might have been just trying to save tires, but he's got the memo that these guys around him really aren't. They're pushing. And this will happen throughout the whole race for these guys. They'll try and save a little bit. Some guys want to run faster, and they really pace themselves off each other here.
Something to note that we didn't get to in the beginning. Following incident review from last week, Will Moore did have a qualification ban for this week. He did not get to put down any laps. Currently up in P11, started back in 22nd, which was dead last. So we'll see what that 8 truck can do through the rest of the night. Anthony Camarada is currently down 12 spots into P20. I believe was also involved in the early incident of sideways trucks, and is just trying to keep it under him at this point. Jonathan Cofield's lead just under a second now.
If we drop back, we look at P18 with Jeffrey Smith and those guys around him. They're really still racing back here. Like, it has not let up.
I wonder if some of these
Get
drivers
in the wall.
still stuck in the wall through 3 and 4. All the way back to 22nd, Ryan O'Toole. Very smart and a respectable move to keep it in the wall there. Not pull it down off the wall and clip anybody else. But I do wonder if any of these drivers have seen the points update week after week and just see the gaps that are starting to form from each position and are going to want every position possible to get the most points.
Yeah, we were talking earlier how close the points were. They're starting to gap a little bit as we have the same guys running up front every week. But someone I'm not seeing this week, I don't know if I'm just not seeing him, but is Coster not here this week? One of the fastest guys we have.
You would be correct. I'm not seeing Tanner Coster.
So that's going to be a huge swing in points for him. We got
Same
23
thing
cars
goes
tonight.
for the 6. Tyler Johnson is not here as well.
Yeah,
Those are two
that's right.
drivers that have locked themselves in to the playoffs with wins. Tanner Coster, the points leader. I don't think this race should hurt too much, as with those 27, I believe, playoff points, will keep him atop the playoff drivers unless somebody wins 2 or 3 races with him not scoring.
And we've got the 1st through 7th really spread out, kind of just about an even gap from each person. And then 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, they're a little group that we see right here. And then we got the guys behind them, they're really starting to spread out a little bit. Really, that really close battle is that 8th through 12th place.
Jess Moore and Kevin Stanley Jr. going side by side here. 00 making his way through and trying to get through another position up into P13.
And
Jay
as I was saying, we
Feathers,
have
Reginald Harris also going side by side.
a very typical Charlotte where if a long run starts, it rarely ever ends. So we could see this go green flag to green flag, or the checkered. It just tends to be how Charlotte races. I don't know what it is about it, but something about, I don't know if it's because it's harder to pass or if it's easy for the cars to get spread out, but a lot of the times, once you get those first few cautions out of the way, it usually runs green.
That 8th through 12th place battle still continuing with Will Moore picking them off one by one. It's clear almost of Zapata off of 4. He's going to have the inside of Gary Madu into 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just dropped down and talked to one of the drivers. I didn't quite get to practice and see what a fuel run was, but it's they say they only got about 6 laps left, so this is going to be a 2-stop race.
About 6 more laps. Gets them to about 32 roughly on a full tank.
So I'm wondering if they're going to have to save just that little bit a lap or two, which is pretty easy, but if you're not paying attention to it, you can really mess it up and have to pit with 1 lap to go.
Back to the leader, Jonathan Cofield, 1.3 second gap to Zach Panzarella. Keith Ayers and Paul Brown are a little bit within each other there. As Paul Brown making his WRL debut tonight. Currently running where he started in P4. Other drivers making their WRL debuts. I see Gary Madu, name I had not seen here before yet, up 3 spots from his start into P9. Daniel Chesmore's up 6 into P13. I'm also seeing the name of, if I can find it again, Austin Norris is
Stop or starting.
Oh, there's a truck
and we get a big wreck.
Big wreck. And that's Gary Madu, as we just mentioned.
I thought I heard that somebody was pitting. I don't know. I didn't catch it, but he might have tried to pit and then missed pit lane and spun out. Because I think someone said they were pitting, but...
Yes, it looks like Gary Madu might have said he was pitting. Got slow on the inside.
Man. Looks like Austin Norris just didn't know.
Oh, and Jeffrey Smith, I believe that was, came in late.
I mean, for Jeffrey, I'm sure he couldn't really see that happening.
No time
Looked like
to
they were
react.
almost 3 wide off the corner. Lucky there wasn't more involved because he spun right in the middle of the track.
Absolutely, and that involved right there 2 of the drivers that I just mentioned making WRL debuts, Gary Madu and Austin Norris.
Yeah. Hearing on the radio, he did call it out. It's just he thought he'd already be in pit road by the time he got there. Anyways, you have the front guys pitting here. The whole field's coming down.
You get one more view from the cockpit of Jeffrey Smith. You see him up against the wall and then just suddenly comes down. Nothing he could do.
I think that car's going to stay up top, but... So we've got the leaders taking 4 tires. Nobody's taking 2.
We saw Jonathan Cofield, Zach Panzarella come out 1-2. Paul Brown makes a leap into P3s. Keith Ayers is 4. Nicholas Lamb 5. Matt McDonald 6.
I just heard, I think Paul Brown is going to have a speeding penalty.
It does
looks like everybody took 4 tires. Nobody's trying the 2-tire strat. But if these guys were able to go 6 laps from when I was told, they're gonna have to save, because they would have been able to make it to 32 there. So they did have a caution in there. So
if they're gonna make it, call it roughly 30 laps on a stop, they're going to need to save about 5 laps per run to make it on 2 more stops. Or no, that's 1 more stop. If they can get into the pits anywhere from 65 to 70.
Yeah, that's definitely possible here at Charlotte. It takes a little bit. Fuel saving takes some finesse to be fast and not lose a bunch of time and not destroy the tires while doing it. It's definitely possible to save that many laps. It's just going to take a lot of discipline. You have to start now. You have to start under caution. Save that fuel now. But all it takes is one more caution to make it just about a one-stopper. So you do have that ability to really run hard and hope that you get a caution. You do have Jeffrey Smith still on pit road. Seems like he might be having troubles actually getting it refired while on pit road. But we have the same restart as last time. Cofield on the bottom and Zach on the top.
Green, green, green.
And a good jump from Keith Ayers on the inside makes him get right past Zach Panzarella into P2.
Yeah, it looks like Panzarella's been struggling on the outside on the restart. I don't know if it's just that lane or if he's having a hard time himself. We'll have to see if we get another restart, if someone else is on that outside, if the same thing happens.
We got the rear on back looking at the field from the front of the leader. As they come around, turn forward on the front stretch.
And Charlotte, it really is a narrow track. This place is not wide like a bunch of other mile and a halves. This place, there's not a lot of room to be side by side. Ooh, the 8 gets loose. Keeps it going, though. Three wide back there.
Back in the pack. Granny Madu and Austin Norris side by side. With them that close together, doesn't appear there's going to be any bad blood from the 63 as he's just getting by and pulling away pretty quickly. Back to the top 3, currently under a blanket. P4 going side by side with Lamb and Zapata, making his way up into the top 5. It was a 4-car battle for 6th.
Ooh, the 97 gets into the back of the 11 there. It's a pretty hard shot for corner entry, but they both hold on to it. Looks like we got a battle for second. We got Zach Panzarella going around the outside.
Jeffrey Smith has made it back on track, 6 laps down.
They're both catching Jonathan Cofield.
Wonder if Jonathan realized how much tires are going to matter during that long
Yeah.
run if they started to hurt after he pulled his gap.
Yeah, I don't think he started falling back, but I wonder if he saw that tire wear and didn't like it if we do go long.
Panzarella going to complete the pass off of 2.
And with the fuel these guys run, at 32 laps isn't a long time at Charlotte, so these guys can really switch up what they do strategy-wise. They can take 2 tires if they save enough. They can even take none if they do a good enough job and keep track position. As we see Cofield tap the wall coming out of 4. This battle for second, one gets in front of the other and the next one falls back a little bit and then they pull right back up.
And here we can see some lap time history from Panzarella and Ayers. as just from lap 34 to 38, Panzarella has lost almost half a second in lap time.
Yeah, this could just be Jonathan just playing with that gap behind him, managing his tires, hoping that Panzarella just uses them up, trying to get to him, being in that little bit of dirty air. These trucks are bricks in the air, so that dirty air is going to affect that car behind you. You can really use it to your advantage to make that person behind you use just a little bit more tire.
Battle with Kevin Salem Jr. and Jade Feathers back for 11th as they're side by side. A little more up into P9.
Yeah, and last time we had a big pack, or actually two smaller packs. We had that second pack and then the third pack, but right now we just have that second pack that's from 6th to 18th. There's not much separation between them. And it looks like Nicholas Lamb is having some really good laps the past few, and he's really catching up to these leaders and quick. He's just got to get around Zapata. You see him peeking that nose down low, and as soon as he tried to get a little bit more in the gas, just the dirty air sent his truck up just a little bit. We've got the battle for 6th really heating up. Will Moore is coming. So is Mark Cofield.
Currently the 00 and the 8 up 13 and 15 spots from their start, trying to make a charge towards the front.
What I'm seeing is Will Moore is really committed to that top. He hasn't really been running the bottom. He got loose that one time, and he's really liked the top ever since.
Little gyro view from the 8 here, running the top through 1 and 2.
This gives a good sense just how much banking Charlotte has.
A little bit more mid to top through 3 and 4. As this pack still stays interesting. We do have Panzarella and the Air is now bumper to bumper for P2.
Yeah, like I was saying, they just keep swapping positions. And you know who's loving to see that? Jonathan Cofield. If he is saving tires, he's loving every second of them battling. Let him pull away while using just a little bit less. If there's going to make that pass hardly.
Hit you with some Zach on track action. Zach Panzarella cockpit view following Keith Ayers around, trying to fight for P2.
You got Matt McDonald leading that second pack almost. He's someone to watch. He was 3rd or 4th in that little pack, and he's got up to the front of it. Really making some time up.
If you're Daniel Chesmore or Will Moore at this point, you're hoping you get another yellow flag somewhere within the fuel window so you can try and continue your climb. We're about 6 seconds back of the leader. I mean, I don't see a way to make that up if this stays green, unless you have some sort of amazing pit stop and strategy that's just, 7 seconds or more better than Cofield or Ayers or even Zach.
Jumping back through the field, I'm checking the onboards of some of these guys in the back, and I don't really see anybody saving fuel. It seems like everybody's kind of going for it, just hoping for another caution. unless they can make it. Ooh, Reginald Harris taps the wall out of 3 and 4, in 3 and 4, and keeps it going.
Checking back in with Jonathan Cofield, 1.8 seconds ahead of Ayers and Panzarella. Coming up on appears to be Anthony Camarada. That would put Camarada a lap down in the second car, not on the lead lap. Jeffrey Smith is back there, I believe.
And you know what? I
6
just
laps
heard
down.
Anthony Camarada is shutting off the truck. He just had the truck off through that corner. I think he might be losing too much time though. Yeah, he has the truck off. He's saving fuel.
I'm not sure that it was off, as I still think I heard an idle, but it was definitely clutch in. At the least. The lights are staying on the dash.
Thing is, this is a lot of fuel to be saving. I don't know if he's shutting it off, but that's a lot. We were saying they did need like 5 laps, so I think he's the only one doing it.
I mean, if you can get 5 laps out of that and not have to pit again, I mean, depending on where you are in relation to the whole field when they come down, I don't know if there's much to gain from it.
Well, you'd be cutting out a whole 40 seconds, but he's losing a lot more than 40 seconds to the leader. That's always my rule when fuel saving. About 40 seconds is what you need down to get down pit road and get back out, but he's already lost a lap in 2 seconds, and a lap around here is 32 seconds. But we'll keep an eye on it as we got Zach. Yeah. That's early. We knew they can make about 30 laps. So I wonder, yeah, I think he's splitting this into 3 stages even. Kevin Stanley's down too.
That pack of 3, Wilmore, Daniel Chesmore, Jade Feathers running 6, 7, 8 are up 16, 12, and 12 spots.
Something to note, if these guys are going to get tires all those 3 runs, they are about a second off their times on new tires. So this is something to watch. Something that Charlotte is famous for in iRacing is just these long runs, and you can really play with the strategy and kind of do what you want. Get creative. And with someone as fast as Jonathan Cofield, it makes it that much harder to save fuel. Because when someone's running that fast and pulling away with that much speed, it takes away how much you can lose on lap time saving fuel. So, as much as I like Camarada's play, I'd love to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting move that the 71 is trying to make, but I'm not sure how worth it it's going to play out.
Because we know these guys can make it around 32, 33 laps, maybe a little bit less. They're still about 4 to 5 laps from what we think they can make. So we'll see how much further Camarada can make it.
I mean, time-wise, you're talking at about 40 seconds. I'm showing the gap to the leader as 36. So
I think pit lane time is about 45. So
at this moment, if Cofield were to come down, if the whole field were to come down, and Camarada didn't, it does look like he'd get the lead. But
if he has to do that
continues what he's
twice,
doing, it's just going to fall. I mean, that time is ever increasing.
and the leaders are starting to come Keith Ayers next time by, saying over the radio.
Got Charles Irwin down pit road, just got to the box, overshot it just a
We
little.
missed it. That hurts on on these green flag runs. It's not much, but if you come to short pit and you do that, it really hurts it. And it looks like these guys have hit their window. We've got a bunch of cars down pit road. Potter does a great job if he wasn't speeding. So does Matt McDonald gaining a lot of time.
We got Will Moore, Mark Cofield, Brandon Alessi. Green flag pit stops are officially entirely underway. We will see where that cycles. Zach Panzarella currently in the 18th position.
And he was the first to come down. We'll see if tires can make a difference as we got the leader coming to pit road.
The leader's down pit road. Panzarella is a lap down, getting his lap back now. And he might cycle to the lead. It'll be close. I think he was about 46 to 50 seconds.
Yeah, and we see Camerata. Camerata is 2 seconds behind Zach. And that's without him pitting yet. So he has cycled to second on the track.
As here comes Panzarella down the front stretch, hitting the line now. He's going to take the lead from Cofield, coming through 1 and 2 this time.
Yeah, so just short pitting right there. There's 7-lap difference, though, so we'll see if Cofield can make that up. It's going to be about a 3 to 4 second difference.
Austin Norris has cycled to the lead. Everybody 2nd through 6th is on pit road.
He's the only one. He's coming this time, though. He was the only one to stay out. Camerata still has to pit, though. Camerata is a car I'm keeping my eye on. We knew he was saving fuel. If he can make it another 5 to 6 laps, he's going to cut out a fuel stop. And you can really hear it through the corners. He's really out of the gas.
Back on board with him into 3 and 4 here.
He's trying to cut out another pit stop, sitting P4 right now. You can just see the speed difference. As we have Kevin Stanley flying by him on exit. You watch here how much Kevin Stanley will pull away. That's on new tires and not saving. So that's how much he's losing per corner to everyone else.
But he did cycle up into 3rd.
Yep. He was running near the back, so he had to try something different.
This is the gap.
Check out our leader.
To Cofield. We'll see him back there, coming off of turn 2. Zach's about halfway down the backstretch.
Yeah, and the gap was about 3 to 4 seconds, and it's already down to less than 2. So Jonathan Cofield definitely using his tires right now to catch back up. There is the difference there. We'll update you when Camerata comes to pit road, but for now he's staying out there. Yeah, that 7-lap difference, it's hurting Zach a little bit. Cofield's coming quick. Now down to 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, the average I'm seeing it was about 43 to 46 seconds down pit road. Reginald Harris, I would believe, took 2 tires with a 9.47 second pit stop and 38 seconds on pit lane altogether.
And we were saying that's definitely viable. It's just it didn't gain him too many spots because he was so far back. As we got Daniel Chesmore down pit road.
That is pit stop number 3 for Chesmore. The same thing for Zapata. Zapata has been down pit road 3 times. But I believe one of them was early on with that incident.
Oh, Camerata is on the apron. I think he might have ran out. I think he ran it dry. And he would have had to. This is where he had to pit. That's going to lose him a lot of time, though.
Coasting down pit road, nothing
Yeah,
left
he's definitely
in it.
he's out of fuel.
Does he make it to his box?
Yeah, he's
He's. I don't think he's
went
gonna make
one
it.
too many far.
He started, up in the top 6. I think he's not gonna make his pit stall.
And this was such a good gamble. I think he could have had something, but
As
he's
we
losing
missed,
way too much time.
Cofield did get by Panzarella and is now pulled out to 1.6 seconds. Camerata still rolling.
Yeah, it looks like he makes it into his box, but it's gonna be for nothing at this point.
I believe pitting one more lap sooner might have been the better option there.
Yeah, but at that point he wouldn't have been able to save enough fuel. He had to try to go that one extra lap. You guys were only able to go about 32. He was just short of making it. I think that was the lap he had to pit. And
Now, in my belief at this moment, there aren't a lot of drivers in the field that are going to be able to make it. There's still one more stop.
I mean, you just saw what Camerata did to try and make it. He ran himself out of fuel to try and save enough fuel. Well, he had to make another pit stop, but it would have been close.
That was a 1:07 pit lane time.
And if he was saving that much to run himself out of fuel, there's no way these guys can make it on fuel. They're going to have to do a stop and go or a 2-tire call late. Maybe even split this in half.
I mean, Camerata's 3 laps down at this point.
We got a battle for third with Zapata and Ayers. They're on the same lap tires, so they both pit at the same time. Both took 4. And this is where Charlotte sets in. This is Charlotte at its best when everybody's spread out, everybody's racing their own race. It's kind of just make your time, make lap time. You'll see a few races here and there as we saw with Zapata and Ayers, but overall there's not much. And we see Panzarella's falling back just a little bit time-wise. Ooze. He gets into the wall a little bit. He's falling back. He is on about 7 lap older tires than most of the field, at least.
Yeah, pit lap for Panzarella was 52. The rest of the field came down roughly, a couple on 56, but most of them were about 58, 59, and 60.
But these guys' window is technically open, so they can really pit at any time if they feel like they're losing too much, maybe put tires on. I think this is going to come down to whoever has the best call of 2 tires, no tires, or 4 tires. And does somebody try and stretch it and stay out and hope for a late caution? That's something else we could watch for. Looks like a good battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th starting to heat up. We've got Jonathan Cofield is starting to catch lap traffic that is actively fighting for position.
Reginald Harris.
Reginald Harris.
Down pit road.
Another side of Charlotte is these long runs. Is a lot of people go a lap down and they'll fight hard for it because because one caution will put you right back in the game as we see Austin Norris and Charles Irwin really fighting for this, what will be the lucky dog once Jonathan Cofield gets around them.
We're now under 25 to go.
See Austin Norris dive it down low. Gonna have the bottom lane into the corner. See Camarada coming up through after his late pit stop. Has the best tires in the field, but he lost so much time on pit road. Unfortunate for him. Would have been nice to see that run out, but one too many laps.
The gap has increased to 8.5 seconds over second place.
Yeah. But only half a second between second and third.
1 lap truck between the two.
Panzarella's falling back. And keeps falling like this. There's more position to lose all the way to 5th place. We have Matt McDonald down pit road making his pit stop. They are in the window, like I said, so this could be a strategy play. Let's see if he takes any tires. Like he's just putting... Oh, there goes right sides. Right sides and left sides. He's taking 4 tires. We got Panzarella coming down this time. And Panzarella realized that he's losing ground. We'll see what happens with Matt McDonald. He took 4 tires.
Here comes the 12 down pit road.
Ooh, really close there with Gary Maydew. But now I think we're going to have 2 different strategies. Guys who pit now, and then we'll have guys who try and run it as long as they can. Just do a gas and go. I think the right strategy is going to be what we have Matt McDonald and Zach Panzarella doing. I think there's enough time that you can gain a lot of time with new tires if you take it. Right now these guys are a second off fastest.
Right side's on number 12. And looks like there's going to be a 4-tire stop for Panzarella.
Yeah, left side's on, got Kyle Lawver coming down now.
Lawver's down, Mark Cofield coming down.
Yep. Cofield had a great entry if he wasn't speeding. Oh, and behind him the 15. Ryan O'Toole into the wall. You've seen that a couple times on green flag stop. Ooh, he's going to back up right into the leader.
Right at the leader.
Looks like he got away with it. Yeah, but this has brought everybody down. Matt McDonald started a landslide. Matt McDonald's gonna jump. Couple spots there.
McDonald currently just ahead of Zach Panzarella. Tire difference there, about 2 laps.
But something that is of note is we did have Jonathan Cofield that far up, as this is going to be a close race. But Nicholas Lamb staying on the lead lap.
Cofield's on his way out through 3 and 4 on the apron. Currently back out on track. As the gap to P2 is coming through 1 and 2 right now. So off of 2,
yeah.
Matt McDonald.
And he had that little bit to play with there. That huge gap. I think he could have definitely... Oh, yellow's out!
Yellow flag is out.
Jonathan Cofield's on the lead lap, but he's the only one. Nicholas Lamb is going to be the leader.
As that might trap looks like P7 on back, a lap down. And since Cofield didn't lose a lap, the only ones that are going to benefit from this are the top 5. Lamb, Moore, Alessi, Feathers, Irwin. And then Cofield himself is going to cycle to the lead as those top 5 are going to pit.
And that couldn't have gone any better for Jonathan Cofield. He's going to cycle to the lead with almost nothing on his tires. That is not what the field wanted to see, those fast people.
Looks like the incident involved Zapata coming off of pit road. Door bang
just
with
gets
the
loose.
70. Trucks go around on pit exit.
Doesn't look like anybody hit too hard. We have the leaders coming down as we thought. And everybody else staying out.
So here comes Jonathan Cofield off of 4 down the front stretch. As everybody else is down pit road. Alessi, Moore, Feathers, Irwin. And then everybody else who had already pitted is now stuck. Some of these drivers, though, do... I don't think anybody gets... I don't think anybody does. It looks like Cofield's cycling to the front.
Cofield
No
stays
wave
out.
rounds. Looks like he stopped.
Oh, no. Because he went around, everybody's back on the lead lap. Because he was in front of them all. So they all get their lap back, as long as they didn't pit. Because everybody got waved around.
In front of him. Trucks in front of him appear to be...
They're all going to get the wave around, I believe.
Keith Ayers, Zach Panzarella. Austin Mioto's in there. Kevin Stanley. I believe the 57 is in line up there as well, of Austin Norris.
Don't we just love cautions during pit cycles? Aren't they just so much fun? It's like half the field loves it and half the field hates it. It's either really making your strategy look amazing or making it look awful.
And either way, us in the booth, we get an interesting race to call, whether it's green flag cycles and pit stops and strategies, or it's who's good, who's not, due to the mid-cycle yellow.
Lamb came back down pit road. He's putting tires on it. He put tires on it. Lamb put tires on it. He's going to have about 5-lap newer tires, but
5 laps,
I mean,
as we saw earlier, the difference was about half a second in 5 laps.
Yeah.
When we were seeing Panzarella earlier at the start of the one run, he lost about half a second over the first, 5 to 7 laps of that run.
And people that really hurt are Keith Ayers, Zach Panzarella, all running up there, running up front, and now they're back in 8th and 9th. Them not being able to get by that Nicholas Lamb, who was the leader. And that's what that huge lead gave Jonathan Cofield. It gave him that advantage of being able to come out in front of the cycled leader.
As Will Moore is the second place car for this restart.
See if the outside line can hold on. Hasn't been able to the past few restarts.
Green.
Jonathan Cofield gets a run out in front. Will Moore, the closest we've seen a driver off the restart.
And something to note, Jonathan Cofield does have about 2 green flag laps on his tires compared to everyone else having none. See if that makes any difference. Ooh. 3 wide to Reckon
in the back.
Caution's out. That's going to be a big one.
Hard hit for Chessmore.
Oh, someone
Brown's
hard
around.
inside. Yeah, and they looked to be trying 4 wide off corner exit, and that just... They sorted out the 3 wide, but then it just did not work getting into the kink.
Let's go find the start of everything here. So we see there's a truck up in the wall. It ends up 3 wide. And
Yeah, he
just
came off
noses
the
get
wall.
cut. Drivers just kind of everywhere.
No.
What a hit that was down into the inside wall. I didn't see who that was exactly. Hard
Man,
hits
forgot we
for a
weren't
lot
driving
of
the wall.
drivers. Jonathan Gofield still out in front of Will Moore. Someone who has not made the front appearances yet, but with this chaos of yellow flags, Charles Irwin, Brandon Alessi, 3-4, Jade Feathers, P5.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. I haven't really said anything about Charles Irwin tonight. Not much, but he's right there. He has a chance. They do have that little slight advantage on tires. It's not much, but it's something. Looks like Zapata's going to get the lucky dog here. The guys only have 10 laps to go. Going to be 8 to go when we get the green flag, so really short run. Looks like everyone involved: Paul Brown, Reginald Harris, Austin Norris, Daniel Chesmore, Jeffrey Smith. All getting repairs on pit road. I do think if Will Moore can get a good restart on that outside, time it really well, and stay right next to him, he has a chance. He has the better tires, not by much, but it will make a little bit of a difference, especially if you can get side by side.
One of the biggest things that's going to keep Cofield out in front, that's not just his pure speed, but it's having the lead for the restart, getting the jump.
And something that Camerata can feel good about is that first caution we had really would have really hurt his plans. He would have had to have this run green, so that really would have hurt really his strategy. So not that he loves seeing it, he doesn't like what happened, but this does help him feel better about him running out of gas, as that probably would have killed his strategy. We do have, from 12th on back, a lap down. 12th through 15th, only one lap down. So there is a battle going on there for the lucky dog. Right now we'd have the 16 of Austin Mioto getting it. Man, this has been a fun race. I don't want this one to end. You guys have been doing a great job tonight.
It's been extremely exciting racing. We're only under the fourth yellow of the night, under 10 to go here. It's going to be 8 laps to go when they take the green flag. Lights are off on the pace car. It's down pit road. Another Jonathan Cofield controlled restart down into the restart zone. Does Wilmore have anything for him? Looks like he spun the tires just a little.
Looks like it's not enough to stay side by side, but he's right there.
Side by side for fourth on back a little ways. And here comes Will Moore.
Corner. 113 spins into the... I think he spun into the barriers. No, we just missed him.
Reginald Harris off track, back on track. Lots of left front damage.
Yeah, that involved 2 cars.
Back to
I don't know how we didn't get a caution, but We stay green nonetheless. And that 8 has that speed. He has just a little bit newer tires. You can definitely tell Jonathan Cofield's not able to pull away.
If I'm the 7 of Charles Irwin here, I might, if I can, attempt to give the 8 any pushes and try and
113
both take
slow
over
on the
that spot.
backstretch. He's got massive wheel damage.
Yellow's
Caution's
out,
out
wrecking
because
on
of
the
it.
backstretch. Big damage. Jade Feathers involved, it looked like.
Oh, I thought that was because of the slow car, but there's just a wreck.
Big wreck on the backstretch. Brandon Alessi and Jade Feathers both involved.
We were just talking about them having such a good night due to the
Alessi and
strategy.
Feathers side by side. Zach Panzarella goes 3 wide, but unrelated, those two get together.
Ooh.
Matt McDonald involved.
I don't know if we can find it, but the 113 also had huge damage from the spin before, if we have time to go look at it after this.
Yeah,
it looks like
here, a mega run from Panzarella crosses both of them over. But it just looks like the
Feather gets a little
75.
loose.
Yeah, either a little loose or just pinched off the wall. And I don't think Alessi expected that one.
Mm.
We'll go back and find Reginald Harris. Help from the 15. Maybe a little loose on that inside.
Yeah, he just missed the barriers,
Little loose. A little
but
bit
I think
of
he
help.
still hit him.
He definitely still nicked him.
Yeah, that tore the left front off. I saw it. I thought that's what the caution was because he limped around. He couldn't turn the truck that well. And he went around about this speed the whole lap.
That'll give Will Moore and Charles Irwin, along with Nicholas Lamb and Zach Panzarella, up to P5, another shot to have anybody try and give anything to Jonathan Cofield.
Yeah, and Wilmore did a really good job that last restart. It looked like Jonathan Cofield either just waited a long time or spun the tires. I couldn't really tell. It was a weird restart, but he switched it up, and it almost gave Wilmore a chance. And this might bring us into a natural green-white checkered, if not just a green-white checkered. We've got Matt McDonald, Jeffrey Smith, still on pit road, Paul Brown. That did give Austin Mioto his lap back for Lucky Dog.
I believe this is a natural green-white checkered. No, because it'll be 3 to go this time, and it would be 2 to go next time, so it'll end up as a regular overtime green-white checkered.
I mean, they're 1 to go. I'm not seeing it come up yet. Yeah, they're gonna go green with 2 to go, so this is just a natural green-white checkered. This isn't one of their 3, so they're gonna get 4 attempts at a green-white checkered here. We saw Cofield lose it late last week due to a tire strategy. This time he pits and gets out in front of the leaders, helping him a lot, but these late cautions can completely change that. These guys line up for what could be the final time of the race. Pace car's off.
Green flag, green flag.
Wilmore gets a good jump, but he has the 7 right there with him too. Gonna make it that much harder. Wilmore's gonna have to give it everything he got to get around Jonathan Cofield.
The gap from first to second, the closest we've seen it all night.
And he's there. Cofield's gonna have to make a mistake, I think, though. As we come to 1 to go.
Wilmore hot on Jonathan Cofield's tail. Nicholas Lamb moved for P3.
He's gonna try the top line. He's gonna have a little bit of a run coming off the corner. I don't think it's gonna be enough. He's gonna have to send it in to 3 and 4. Ooh, he gets there. He didn't bump him.
Couldn't quite get the bumper to him off of turn 4. Jonathan Cofield over Wilmore for another win.
Charles Irwin, we were talking about, got that P3. A great night from him. And I think we know who we got to have as our little bonus guest tonight. Love to hear the thought process on what Camerata's play was, but we see Jonathan Cofield coming up to the start-finish line, doing his burnout.
We'll see who the first to the waiting room will be tonight.
And that race played out just like we thought it would. With the long green flag run there with some green flag stops, but then that late caution really changed it up. We almost saw an upset winner from Wilmore after Jonathan Cofield dominated today.
All right, we're going to start with our third place finisher, Charles Irwin. Charles, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. What's up?
Hey, man, solid race from you, kind of hanging out near the middle and back for a good portion of the race, and then coming up near the end and getting yourself a podium finish. So a solid race from you. And I guess we kind of want to just hear, what you were doing at the beginning. Kind of, were you riding in the back saving tire, or was it just that difficult to get to the front?
Well, I was saving tire because I had to take a set after that first caution. So I was kind of behind the 8 ball, and I just needed to kind of ride it out, save the tires, and get myself into a spot where I could have been the lucky dog, or I could have been the first guy. Not like I could have been the guy right in front of the leader, caught a break, and I eventually did. But it was during that last cycle of pit stops, and got myself into fourth there, and then into third, and I was going to try and go for it, but I just didn't have the tire for it. So yeah, I was just kind of saving the tire there in the beginning, and waiting for something to happen, and something did happen, but I got caught up a little bit, so I had to take that set after that first caution. And then it was just kind of like all right, we're just gonna run the low line and run like 31 ones, like 30,
Mm-hmm.
like 30 and like 30.8s, and just kind of ride and just wait. So
Yeah, Charlotte tends to run like a lot of green flag races. I don't know what it is about it. It's a lot different than any other mile and a half in that regard. You tend to always get the green flag stops, so saving tires is always a good call here, and it seemed like it worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the result there and catching a break when I did. God, I needed that. So, yeah.
Well, you were able to hold off Nicholas Lamb, Zach Panzarella, and friends behind there at the end. I know I saw Nicholas making a couple dives to the inside, but you were able to hold him off, bring home the podium finish, as well as looks like add yourself a playoff point. I believe that is your first. You get one single one for the P3. So a solid finish for you. Good points for you tonight. And congratulations on the podium.
Appreciate you guys. You guys do an awesome job up here in the booth. So, good work tonight, and see you next week.
Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Go ahead and give any other shout outs you got them real quick before we send you away.
Oh, I just want to shout out my teammates, the Matthew McDonald and Ryan Tool. They just do an incredible job every week and getting us practice and stuff, and do an incredible job during the race. They just kind of get caught up in some of the some stuff they shouldn't from other drivers that wonder why they're in wrecks. So, yeah, they do an incredible job each and every week. So hopefully they can right the ship here soon.
Alrighty, well, solid race from you, and we'll see if we're talking to you again next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks.
Charles Irwin, our P3 finisher. Go ahead and get Will Moore here next. Will, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, solid finish and solid fight from you there at the end. I was watching you most of the night make your way after your qualifying penalty, not getting to qualify. Started all the way back in 22nd. Early on, you made your way up through half the field. And then near the end, you made your way through almost the rest of the half. Right there on the back end of Jonathan Cofield. And just anything you think you could have done differently to make it stick? Or is Jonathan just that powerful?
I mean, he is. There's that. I mean, I shouldn't have followed him into the corner. I mean, I know my truck was, especially on new tires, was better on the top. I mean, I could just gun it in the center and fly past. That's what I should have done. At least then I could have gotten next to him. That was my plan as soon as I got up there. Was just if I can get next to him, on a little bit newer tires, I think I can get him on the outside, and I could just never get to him. And when I did, I made the mistake of following him going into 3 and 4 when I should have went high.
Yeah, we saw you running the top a lot tonight. Seemed like you really liked it up there. But I think you've kind of earned the nickname of the closer, because it seems like you tend to find yourself a little further back, and then by the last 10 laps, you're always up there fighting for it.
Yeah, I try to run these races as smart as possible, not get in, not put myself in some of these 3 wide situations that, unless I know I have to, that some of these guys get in, that causes some of these yellows. At the beginning, I didn't think about, moving like I did. Charlotte's not a favorite track. I just got lucky on the start. A bunch of people stacked up, and as they were all figuring it out, I was just running the top, trying to make it work. And I think the truck worked better on the bottom. It was just so many times that lane you got was the top. It was just, you've got to make it work if you want to move up. For some people, um, just got lucky there on the pit cycle on that last one. Running long, which I wasn't the plan. I was gonna pit early, but by the time I wanted to do it, so many people were starting to pit. It's like, well, I'm late. It's either I'm late now, so I'm gonna get shuffled to the back, or I just stay out and hope to God a caution comes out, and thank God it did.
Yep.
Well, it was definitely an exciting race to watch. You were a part of some very strong battles as you fought your way up. It was, probably one of my favorite parts of the night, aside from all the other battles, was just watching you climb your way up. And it's one of my favorite parts of every week. I mean, like Matt has said, you started to close these races out pretty good. And I feel that win's coming for you.
Yeah, I think it is too. Tonight was a good indication, that I can run with some of these higher guys, because previous seasons I did have multiple wins, but we've gotten a lot bigger field. We've got a lot stronger field than we did. So now, you're actually having to work for these wins against guys that, have the experience and are that good. So, running up there, getting up there with them, which, is pure luck, but staying with them and not, because I figured out I'd have been swamped by the guys that have been up there all night. And I managed to stay in second and had a shot to win it. If I'd have just picked the right line, but that's part of, getting the experience of running up there, because I haven't really had much experience, because I can get up to, the top 5, but I usually stall out. But now I know what to do, or at least have some experience there. I mean, like, okay, if I know what works, use that. Don't try to, Hail Mary it. If you know it works, at least try that, because then you're at least you're comfortable.
Wow. You just added a solid 3 points to your playoff point total. I do believe that is your first 3.
Yep.
So that does jump you up above some of the others that only have 2 or 1. So I mean, you get that win to lock yourself in, and you'll have a good edge on some of the other guys further down in the playoff points.
Yeah, that's the point. My main goal is a win would be great, but I'm just trying to be consistent, because I know how the trouble some people can get into, just not of their own doing or anything like that, and just trying to run my own race, and it seems to have been working. Had a bad last 2 weeks, but tonight sure they made up for it.
Yeah, it seems like you've kind of been either checkers and not quite checkers, and sometimes wreckers. Kind of been either in that top 5 or kind of in the back. So a little more consistency. You're getting the points. Hopefully you can keep it up for your sake. But got any shout outs?
I'd like to shout out my team, Arizona Incorporated, or AMR. Good group of guys. We just added a new guy to our team in the 57. He showed a good night, led a lap, got the point. And then, of course, to my co-owner Keith, doing a great job with the team, and then all the guys, since we have an alliance with Fatal now, to help kind of get some of their experience and run with them when we need to on the super speedways. All of them running good with us tonight, and just all of them and everybody that watches every week and everybody that continues to race with us.
And before we send you off, I got one more question. How do you decide what paint scheme you're running every week? Because I think you run a different one every week.
So I got, I just went and on trading paints, and then just got a bunch of 8s that I favored in tonight. I actually made this one. This was just my favorite band, one of my favorite bands. Me and a buddy of mine love this band, so I just thought, what, I think this would look cool. Then it could have been executed a little bit better, but I still liked it.
Hey, sometimes you put together a really simple scheme and you just like it. Don't care how it looks, but hey,
Exactly.
Well, congratulations on the P2 finish tonight, and we look forward to seeing if we talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all keep doing a great job.
Appreciate it. That was Will Moore, our P2 finisher tonight. Now we're going to get our winner. And for one of the multiple times this season, Jonathan. It's Jonathan in the booth here with Michael. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
How many times you said it?
At this point, it's engraved in the brain, and it's not odd to say anymore. But anyway, Jonathan, another win from you tonight. This one had to be a little more earned than some of the others, as those yellows brought the field closer together, and you had the 8 hot on your tail there near the end. But you're able to hold off his slightly newer tires and bring home the victory to add another 5 playoff points to your total. Looking to run down Tanner Coster's playoff point total, who did not race tonight, so you will close in on him a little bit. But a solid race from you. You had a solid 8 to 9 second lead when you made the one pit stop, and that allowed you to stay on the lead lap and stay in the front when the yellow came out.
Yeah, and just tell us how important it was to get in front of Lamb there. He almost didn't get in front of him. It was close.
Yeah, it's super important to have the restarting position in P1. It's important pretty much everywhere you go if you can get the jump on them guys. But yeah, he had a good run. I was worried when I was I could make it. All I needed was 5 gallons to make it the rest of the way if it would have went green. So I was going to take 2 tires and just maybe half a tank to make it to the end. And I'm glad I changed my mind. I ended up pitting and taking 4 tires and filling it up because 3 laps later that caution come out and then I'd been a sitting duck. But yeah, it's a fun race. I told Date, I was like, heck, I'd have dumped me. That's what I'd have done. But just messing with him. But I was using a little bit more brake in 3 and 4 than everybody else was. I could see he was really diving in 3, and when we went in and I got on the brake, I'm like, well, I'm done. I knew he was going to get me, but kept it clean. Got it to the checkered.
Yeah, when in the middle part of that race, a little earlier, we saw second and third kind of catching you a little bit. Were you managing the gap, or were they just a little bit quicker at that point?
I just managed and trying to back the corners off, trying to save the truck. Once you get out there, you can kind of just like driving down the interstate, just kind of do your thing.
I had my mic muted, couldn't get it unmuted. My bad there. But yeah, just another outstanding performance from you. Another victory. Definitely going to be a solid playoff contender once those playoffs start. Still got about 7 races left until then, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking to hang out and finish the season off strong. So still a lot of racing left. Everybody's getting better every week. Appreciate the league for having me in here. Hope the guys are learning. I mean, I'll help anybody. All you gotta do is ask. So anytime you need a little help, just let me know.
Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and leave you to the floor for your shout-outs again.
Yeah, just want to thank everybody at Worldwide Racing League for the all the admins, all the racing they put on. Looks like they're gonna have another series coming up pretty soon, so that'd be pretty interesting. You guys in the booth, Jonathan, Michael, always great talking to you guys. That means I've done something right. Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Cofield Supply and Service, SM Racing Products. If you ain't got a button box, go check those guys out. Type in Bandits 1 and save a little money.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another victory, and I almost think we'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it, buddy.
So
that was our winner, Jonathan Cofield.
Just said if we're talking to him, you're doing something right. And sadly, we're going to bring up Anthony Camerata, who almost did something right, but we got to figure out what his strategy was and what was going on with him.
Anthony, it's Jonathan. Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep.
Alrighty, I'll leave this one to Michael because I know he's got some more specific questions for you.
Oh, man. I love a good fuel-saving race. And how early did you decide to start saving fuel? And were you shutting the truck off or just clutching it?
So, yeah, I decided from the start, actually, when I saw we got 30 laps of fuel and there was 100 laps in the race, I figured, let me try. Well, probably the first caution that came out very early. I topped off on fuel. And my goal was get to lap 40. And hopefully it would work out. And I actually had it perfect where I was going to make lap 40, and then the caution came out on lap 28. And from there, my mind was set on it. So I started clutching in that next run.
Yeah, did you run out of fuel coming to the lap you wanted to pit? Because I knew you were right on the line of where you had to pit to make it, and it was really close.
Yeah, so I kind of talked myself into staying out one extra lap, and I ran out into turn 1. I thought I was clutching enough where I would be able to save that at least halfway around, and yeah, no. Entering turn 1, it started sputtering. Got down on the apron and coasted at 10 miles an hour into my pit stall.
Yeah, we watched you come down pit road, but you should have heard the excitement in my voice when I heard that someone was trying to save fuel. I knew it would be close for somebody to try and do it. I always love when someone tries it. we had that late caution. Do you think that would have hurt the strategy if you made it to pit road there and was able to save, or do you think that would have kind of helped you out and evened you out?
If I made it to pit road, I think it probably would have helped me. I would have been probably on the lead lap after everyone started pitting again. If not, maybe the wave around. But I think I could have at that point pit and gotten like a top 10 somewhere in there.
Yeah, you end up
Which
getting
was
trapped a lap
honestly
down.
the goal, but I was trapped. I got 3 laps down, ended up being 2 down, and I never recovered from that.
Well, it was a solid attempt. You know, we love to see it up in the booth, especially Michael. He's a sucker for a good fuel strategy, fuel save.
Man, when I see you got to save 5 laps per run, it's always like, I got to try it, you know? You got to, you can't not try it.
Yeah, I know I'm not good enough to beat some of these guys, like, on pure pace, so I'm 2 spots out of the cut line. I'm trying to do everything I can to be different and hopefully get some good luck.
Yeah, I know this finish is gonna hurt, but I mean, if it did work, you would have finished. I have to imagine at least in the top 6, 7.
Yeah, where I was on track at the end, even though I was in 15th, 2 laps down, I was kind of punching the wheel a little bit. Like, what if I pitted a lap earlier?
Well, the what ifs are one of the biggest parts of, strategy. What if I came in 5 laps earlier? What if I took 2 instead of 4? And this is one of my favorite things to see with strategy. I love seeing, different people do different things, and yours was a highlight of the night. We were really excited to see it. Unfortunate that, you ran out on the in lap, pushed yourself to 1 more. But, definitely had your eyes on you. Definitely going to keep our eyes on you. Looking out for the not wacky strategies, but the slightly longer than everyone else. And I'm sure one of these times it'll end up paying off.
Right, I mean, you'll definitely see it again. I ran the same thing at Texas, and obviously that didn't work out. But hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky one time.
One time's all it takes. If it gets you into a win, that's a playoff spot right there.
Exactly.
Well, a solid run from you. P16 doesn't necessarily tell the whole story, as you were running strong, even though you were still saving. You had the opportunity for, a top 10. But, good effort from you tonight. And go ahead and give your shout-outs.
Yeah, obviously, just got to shout out Fatal Motorsports. I definitely wouldn't be racing here if it wasn't for them. That's really it, man. Just Fatal. Oh, and Airs, more Airs, AMR, whatever they're called, and how we're kind of aligned now. I want to shout out to them. It's nice working with them.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see if we're talking to you again next week, and you go have a good night.
Thank you, and I hope I'm here next week.
And that was our special interview tonight, Anthony Camarada. Now, before we get into anything else with the technical difficulties early in the race, we did not get to see the points heading into tonight, so I'll throw those up now. So going into tonight, Tanner Coster, who did not show up, leads the overall points and the playoff points. Jonathan Cofield gets another win. That'll give him 5 playoff points, get him to 18 total. So he will be seated second with his 3rd win in the playoffs. And then you can see just the whole gaps down the field. Everybody 6th to 9th is 20 or more points up on the cut line, but 10th to 14th separated by not that much. So there's still plenty of positions and points to be earned. You see Camarada, we just talked to him there. He was 9 below the cut before tonight, and he's probably going to drop a little bit further down the list. But, I've got faith that he'll climb back up at some point. We also see Jade Burr there, 13th. Was up around 10th before last week. Not that great of a finish. Fell just outside the playoff cut line.
Yeah, without this race shaked out, I think we're definitely gonna see some movement in the points. We'll definitely show it before the next race, barring any technical difficulties. But I think we're definitely gonna see some movement, especially with around that 8th to 12th place, around that cut line, even that oddly cut line, maybe just above it, but definitely gonna be a little bit of movement there.
I don't exactly remember. Next week Lime Rock? Is that that's race
think
2 of the Dash for
Dash for-
Cash?
Yep.
So we got a little bit of Lime Rock action for race 2 of the Dash for Cash going on next week, same time as this week. Hopefully we'll get live a little bit earlier. Kind of got right at the end of quali this time. And go ahead and pull up our race results here, the full race results. Maybe. There we go. Jonathan Cofield brings home his 3rd win of the season, ahead of Wilmore, posting his season best finish of P2. Charles Irwin, Nicholas Lamb, Zach Panzarella, rounding out the top 5. Keith Ayers, Kevin Stanley Jr., Javier Zapata, Brandon Alessi, and Jade Feathers make up the top 10. And almost the full lead lap was the top 10.
And then we see P11, Austin Mioto, Ryan O'Toole, Mark Cofield 13th, Paul Brown, Kyle Oliver 15th, Anthony Camerata. Shout out to Matt McDonald. He's been having really good races. Just can't finish him. Love to see him up front and finish a race. I think he'd be a really good contender to the end. Had Reginald Harris 18th, Jeffrey Smith 19th, Austin Norris 20th, Daniel Chesmore 21st, and Gary Maydew 22nd.
22 cars in this field, one of the season highs so far. I think right around 22 somewhere, 23. And if we get a couple of those guys back, plus everybody tonight, Tanner Coster, we didn't see Tyler Johnson in here tonight. A couple other guys. I think there's 1 or 2 others maybe missing from tonight. But, we're getting drivers in here. A lot of fast drivers. I mean, we saw, Mioto came in last week, I think it was. He's got a P11 this week. And then some of the newer guys, I know Paul Brown finished 14th, qualified 4th. He was
Had a really good
strong
qualifying run, yeah.
Yeah, got taken out in a wreck or 2, I think it was. Probably got involved in the lap down situation with the yellow flag and couldn't really do anything with it. Austin Norris was running pretty strong as well. Gary Maydew was all right. He ended up, I think he ended up in a 2nd wreck without a fast repair, 18 laps down, back in last place, but still a good effort from him.
And what we're seeing is, we have the fast guys up front every week. Jonathan Cofield, Tanner Coster, Nicholas Lamb, Keith Ayers, but you even see like some guys starting to kind of be the sneakers, sneaky picks with like Charles Irwin, Nicholas Lamb. They're not always up there, but they kind of sneak in here and there. Kevin Stanley Jr. They're just some guys who might not always have a chance to win, but they're going to be up in that top 5.
Absolutely. Well, another strong race from these guys. One of the, cleanest and most exciting races of the season so far. I think there's only 4 or 5 cautions this time. But, lots of good racing, and I definitely look forward to seeing what these guys can do on a road course next week.
Yeah, I wonder who will be the road course ringers of this league. Some leagues it's the same fast guys, but sometimes you get a league where it's someone who will run like 15th every week will be really good at a road course. So this could be a place where one of those guys who might not have like even really a chance to point their way in, get a win at a road course and lock their way in.
Definitely, and that'll definitely shake things up in the points as the cut line just continues to stay a tight race, as we saw a little bit earlier. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do next week. And I believe that is going to do it for us here at MC Motorsports Broadcasting tonight, unless you got anything else to talk about.
Not quite. Just excited to be in Connecticut next week at Lime Rock.
Absolutely, a little bit of a somewhat home track for you there.
Oh yeah.
Well, that will be off from us at MC Motorsports Broadcasting. live from Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Road Ride Racing League Truck Series.
One more thing.
What do you got?
Did we want to do a little announcement? Or are we gonna keep it on the back burner for now?
You talking about the
The 616.
616 truck?
Yeah.
You know what, we might as well drop that one on them. So for the viewers and the rest of the league, anyone who's going to go back and watch this will be the first ones to hear before there's an everyone being in the Discord itself. I, Jonathan Casebeer, and Michael Matta here do plan on doing one race on track with these guys. And those races will be back-to-back weeks. In the back end of the regular season here, I will be running the 616 truck at Michigan. That is my home track. And then Michael is going to pilot the 616 for Pocono.
Yeah, I was going to do Darlington, but I don't want to interfere. That's a first-round playoff. I don't want to get in the middle of that. I'd rather do the home track and not a playoff race. So Michigan and Pocono, two of our home tracks. So we're going to get out there and race some of these guys. It looks like a lot of fun. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, for me, I can't wait. Once the broadcast ends on a Tuesday night, I can't wait to get to the next one. But I'm anxious to get on track with these guys. All right. Well, with that announcement out of the way, I believe we are done this time.
This time we're done.
This time we're done. That's going to be all from us at MC Motorsports Broadcasting. I'm Jonathan Casebeer,